Hello there, World of Tankers. Welcome to the channel. Hopefully all of you are doing well out there. I'm, of course, your host, Droodles Blitz, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about the Batchat 25T. This, of course, is the Tier 10 French autoloading light tank. Yesterday's video, I talked about the AMX-50B, and a lot of you said, you know what, Droodles, I want to see a video on the Batchat as well, because the Batchat is just a much faster and lighter version, pretty much, of the AMX-50B. So today's video, I'm going to be telling you everything you need to know about the tank, pretty much a full in-depth review on how I personally run it. Of course, there's some live gameplay to show you guys how I am running it, of course, and what's going through my mind as I do it as well. But if you enjoyed today's video and you do learn a little bit about the Batchat, maybe I convince you to go down this line after watching my gameplay, please consider to smash that subscribe button down below, as it helps out the channel a crazy amount. But getting straight into it, we're first of all going to talk about the gun mounted on the tank. Now, it is a very solid gun. A lot of people say that the Batchat has been power crept, and while I will agree that the tank definitely is a little bit harder to run than most of the tier 10s on holding its own in a battlefield, if you run the Batchat correctly, you pay attention to the battlefield, I actually find it a very influential tank in the game. In fact, I used to call this the most influential tank in a tier 10 battlefield. And the reason for that being is, first of all, you'll notice the aiming time is fantastic, especially with that dispersion. Well, the dispersion isn't great. It's still good enough with that aiming time to hit pretty much about 80% of the shells you fire. Now, one of the issues I will say is the standard penetration only being at 250 millimeters. Well, it's not bad. It's also not fantastic. What that means is a lot of shells are going to ricochet off side armor because it's APCR. And not only that, but the premium at only 325 also isn't spectacular either, which means premium shells are going to struggle at long distances, especially when hitting small targets. It's going to be very hard to hit certain areas. But overall, I still really enjoy the gun on this vehicle, and that's because, of course, this is a clipper with almost 3,000 damage per minute, which, of course, is a very nice number for a tier 10 clipper. That means that you're easily going to be able to get behind an opponent, and because it has 310 damage per shot and it gets 3 shells in a clip, in a matter of 6 seconds you've dealt a 183 shell. So it is a very deadly amount of damage. People just don't think that it's a lot of damage, but this pretty much is a mini 183 just driving around the battlefield. And even if you don't pen all 3 of your shots, let's say you only get 2 in, well, then you're pretty much a 268. So it's still a very large amount of damage that this clip has potentially. It's just that it's not a lot people think because it's 3 separate shells. So of course we're going to be playing it here. So let's see what we are up against. We got the Leopard PTA, we've got the T-54, the Sheridan, and the Chieftain Mark 6. Those are more the mobile opponents on the enemy team. Now, the nice thing about the Batchat is it is by far the quickest out of all the tier 10 lights. You'll notice that it zooms right up to its top speed, already going up to 50. This tank would have a great 0 to 60 if it was in the F1 area, but you can see you're already into 60 kilometers per hour. This thing got a massive terrain resistance buff, one of the updates, and that gave it just a lead above all the other mobile tanks in the game, at least in acceleration. Not at top speed, but it is able to get very fast ahead of other tier 10 mediums and lights in running away, which is something the Batchat does very often. Now, I'm not spotting anything there right now, but there, of course, is the ST-1 I have spotted, and of course, because I am a light tank, I'm not going to get detected myself. So, I'm not too worried about being detected right now, but we have spotted one tank over there. We've also got the T-54 off to the side. We've got the Jagdpanzer E-100 in the back. Now we've got this T-54 zooming forwards, and there's one shell into the T-54. It doesn't look like we're going to be able to get another in, but that's still 300 damage that I'm going to be able to take out with me on the battlefield. Now, I'm going to zoom around here and try and get a little bit safer into cover, at least while I am trying to run away, because that is an IS-4. That is an extremely deadly opponent, as we all do know. There's the Leopard PTA camping all the way at the back of the map. Let's see if we can get a shot into that Leopard. There's one shell into the Leopard. Can we get any more? Let's see if we can get him in the track wheel. No, we're not going to be able to, but are we going to be able to get a third? No, but that is fine, because again, that was about 600 damage we dealt to that poor Leopard in a matter of 6 seconds or so. So, it's pretty deadly on that. We've also got the Sheridan camping in the back of the map, you know, go figure, but I'm not going to worry about that too much right now, because with that Sheridan sitting back there, that means that I don't need to worry too much about the tanks up in the front line, and, you know what, we got a nice little Maxwell right into that Sheridan as it is. There's a nice tap into that Leopard. Are we going to be able to get one more tap in? There we go, finishing off that Leopard PTA, and as you can see, we're already up to 2,000 damage. Now, those shots I did on that Leopard, you could not have done in any other tier 10 vehicle in the game, and that's, of course, where having that clip is extremely deadly. That means that I'm able to very easily get in the position, clip out a tank, let's say like this IS-4, or get behind a tank, and that's exactly what I'm going to try and do here. So we're going to get behind this IS-4 really quick. We're going to get not only one shell in, but we're also going to try and get a couple more if we can. We're not able to get that out, but I just kind of wanted to do the did the distraction there to get the enemy team not focusing on my teammate so I can swoop in and get some damage out. But I am noticing that this ST1 all the way over here is alone, but at the same time the Sheridan did just fire, which means now I can just get behind the Sheridan and unload a boatload of damage on the butt. Ooh, that's my luck though. Getting an HE, or we'll shoot an HE just to kind of even out that bounce, but, well, it looks like that ST1 missed me as well, but we're already sitting at around 3,000 damage. Now we've got this ST1 over here, which is on a very healthy amount of hit points, and we're going to go right for the butt of this ST. Well, actually, we don't have enough gun depression to do that. We're just going to drive up. Now we can start pumping shells into this ST1, so here we go. This poor guy, he's not really liking this too much, I can tell you that. So 3 shots into the ST1, that's about 1,000 damage we've taken off, and now he's sitting at a 1 shot. So I'm going to let that mouse take care of him. Of course, that mouse is pretty much full health, so the mouse can easily deal with that ST1. We've got the Jagdpanzer E100 right in the front line here, and of course, again, using my mobility, we're able to get right behind the Jagdpanzer, and we're going to tap 3 beefy shells right up the butt of him. And that's the Batchat for you in a nutshell. It is a fantastic vehicle if you know what you're doing. It's able to get out the damage. Not only is it able to get out the damage, but it's also able to flank around the battlefield. It's able to support its opponents, and as you saw here, I did everything that I was supposed to do in this really quick game. So this is about a 2.5 minute game, and in that amount of time I was able to do 4,500 damage. Not only that, able to distract the enemy team, get out some very crucial shots, actually 4,700 damage. So you can see there all 17 of my shots not only hit, but they all damaged. Well, actually one of them hit the track of the Sheridan, because as we know, the Sheridan is one of the weirdest tanks to try and penetrate on the enemy team. Now, one of the biggest reasons why a lot of people do struggle in the Batchat is they play it more like a medium than a light tank. This is an auto-loading tank with very little armor, and the issue for that being is that when you go up against a tank, let's say like the 62A, in 5 seconds, it's going to be shooting you every single time, which means that a 62A is just going to wreck your Batchat in the average battle. It has way more armor than you, it has better gun aiming time, better accuracy, and as well, you have no armor whatsoever, so every shell from, let's say, a 62A, a WZ-121, a 121B, it doesn't matter what type of medium, but it's always going to beat you in damage per minute. Even the lowest of DPM medium tanks still beat the Batchat, and of course the reason for that being is because the Batchat is a light tank. But the issue in Blitz is that light tanks don't play like light tanks. When you look at the Sheridan, this tank can easily hold its own against mediums because it's got alpha and as well ridiculous penetration and missiles, which don't really make sense. And the Vickers Light as well is more of a medium tank. It has armor, which again doesn't make sense for a light tank. The whole point of a light, especially when I came from World of Tanks PC, is to spot the enemy and as well to flank. And the Batchat is really good at doing that, where the other 2 lights in the game currently kind of misconception that. So you're going to see me here running the Batchat. I'm never going to run the Batchat normally where you'd expect it to go because it's not a medium. Of course, I'll go to the medium positions and I'll try and spot, but I'm never going to try and single-handedly take on a medium tank unless, of course, it is within my clip range and I'm confident, or at least fairly confident, that I'm going to penetrate all my shells because it's not worth it to take a risk. One medium tank is going to rip you apart. So there you go, we've already been spotted by that Vickers Light, and as you can see there, the Vickers Light easily pushing itself into a very aggressive position. But like looking at that FE4202, if I try to trade with that tank, even if I hit it, the issue is it's going to outtrade me with alpha if it hits me back. So it's just kind of a lose-lose situation there. Now I am going to wait for him to try and peek his turret out just because of course I'll be able to get the first snap into him before, you know, he snaps me. Ooh, gotta love that accuracy there. But right now we've got the FE-Toon-5B on the other side, which is a tank I'm very tempted to go after. We've also got the enemy Batchat, who is looking like it wants to run away, which is, again, a good thing for me. That FE is turning around, and this is, of course, where I strike. I'm going to make sure that I can get behind a tank like this FE-4202. Also, a very nice fire up the butt. We can start loading high explosive shells, get a nice HE into you, and finish you off. So you'll notice in the Batchat, I'm never going to directly try and fight a medium tank, because I know it's an awful idea. Trying to fight mediums is just something you don't want to do in the Batchat. Like this Vickers Light here, it's going to try and fight me, and it'll probably win. But now, of course, since I do have that clip, I'm able to get a very nasty one into this Vickers here. Gonna try and use my armor. Of course, it didn't really work too well, but again, I had my teammate behind me, which gave me the advantage. I actually had 2 teammates behind me, which gave me the major advantage to clip out that Vickers and come out on top in victory. So we got the enemy Batchat hiding right there. We also got that 704 all the way in the back, and that's exactly what I'm going to start shooting at. So there's one shot into the 704. Also notice key fires. We got one into the track wheel. Are we going to be able to get get one more in. There we go. There's 3 nasty shells into that 704, and what was a full health tier 9 tank destroyer, should I say, is now a former shell of itself. And we're going to be able to reload in just a couple seconds here and start shooting at that 704 once again. There's 1 shell in, and we're about to get 1 more, and there you go. So that was a full health 704 taken away from the battle in just a few seconds. And that's where the Batchet you can really see is in its own element, is when you're trying to flank, when you're dealing with tanks that you can easily take out on the battlefield. And that's what I keep saying, is that a lot of people run the Batchet just like your average medium. They try and fight 62As and stuff like that, but you'll notice in this game, I waited until my team pushed on that FE, then I knew, hey, I've got the advantage, now I can push. Now I can do my job. So we got the 57 heavy here. Again, I'm going to try and flank. We're going to get that track wheel. There you go. Nice tracking shot. And we're going to get 1 more tracking shot in, stopping him in place, getting my teammates the ability to shoot him. So not only did I get assistance damage there for tracking that guy, but also we were able to pick up a lot of damage ourselves, over 4,000 once again. So these were 2 perfect battles to show how the Batchet really plays in Blitz. If you know how to do it correctly, which is what you saw me doing here, it does a spectacular job at that. The first battle in Canal, you saw that I played the Batchet a lot more aggressive up in the front line, but at the same time, you'll notice I never directly tried to fight the mediums. I did do that aggressive push around the IS-4, but other than that, I really didn't go after a medium tank until I saw like the Sheridan shot. Then I'm like, okay, I can use my clip potential. That guy's got a long reload, clip him out, then I run away. Then I go isolated tank like the ST-1. Isolating tanks, especially in clippers that have mobility, is something you really want to do, because if you isolate a tank like the ST-1, you come up behind it, then that's where you can get a bunch of shells and run away. So the Batchet is its own little cup of tea. I actually don't find any other vehicle in the game like the Batchet, not even the AMX 50B, just because of how unique the playstyle is and how really in-depth you have to be in the game to really know how to run it. So I will say the Batchet is not a beginner experience vehicle. If you go for this line right off the bat in the game, you're really going to struggle. Not only is this tank hard to run, but the entire line is definitely a lot harder to run than the average tier 10 vehicle. But if you do know how to run your average light, and if you start to understand the mechanics of this tank, you will absolutely love it. This is one of my most played tanks in the game. So let me know what you guys think of the Batchet in the comments down below. I still personally feel that this is one of the most influential tanks currently out there on the battlefield, if you know what you're doing. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Of course, if you agree with me, please make sure to smash that subscribe button down below. And if you disagree, well, let me know why you disagree in the comments as well. But other than that, hope you're all doing well out there. Stay happy, stay healthy, and I'll see you in the next one.